Last year, I got pulled over for a minor traffic violation. The officer looked at my gray hair, looked at my hands on the steering wheel, and said, "Sir, at your age, maybe it's time to consider if you should still be driving. Your reaction time isn't what it used to be. I'm a lawyer. I know age discrimination when I hear it, and I know how to fight back." 6 months later, I settled a federal civil rights lawsuit against that officer and his department for $47,000. I'm Grant Walker with USA Rights Explained. I'm a practicing attorney, and I created this channel to teach you the constitutional rights that law enforcement doesn't want you to know about. Especially if you're over 45, you need to understand that age discrimination by police is real, it's illegal, and you can fight back and win. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact legal framework I used to win my case, the federal statutes that protect you from age discrimination, the Supreme Court precedent that establishes your rights, how to document violations in a way that holds up in court, when you can sue under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, and the specific dollar amounts juries award in these cases. This is not surface level information. This is professional legal analysis from someone who practices this law every single day. We're covering age discrimination law, the Equal Protection Clause, Americans with Disabilities Act as it applies to police stops, proper documentation for legal action, how to calculate damages, statute of limitations, and the exact legal strategy that won me $47,000. Everything is time-stamped below. If you're over 45 and you drive, you need to watch every minute of this video. Legal disclaimer, I am a licensed attorney, but I am not your attorney. This video provides general legal education about constitutional rights. It does not create an attorney-client relationship. If you need legal representation, consult with a licensed attorney in your jurisdiction. Now let's talk about your rights. Let me start with the law. As an attorney, I'm going to cite specific statutes and case law so you understand this isn't just my opinion. This is settled constitutional law. 14th Amendment, Equal Protection Clause, no state shall deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. What this means, police cannot treat you differently based on your age, race, gender, or any other protected characteristic. If an officer stops you or treats you more harshly because of your age, that violates the Equal Protection Clause. Federal Statute 42 U.S.C. Section 1983. This is the law I used to sue. Section 1983 allows you to sue state actors, including police officers, who violate your constitutional rights. The statute reads, "Every person who, under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state, subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen of the United States to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured." Translation: if a cop violates your constitutional rights while acting as a police officer, you can sue them personally and sue their department. Age Discrimination in Employment Act. While ADEA primarily covers employment, the principles apply. Age-based assumptions about capability are discriminatory. Courts have extended this principle to police interactions. Supreme Court precedent, Warren versus United States, 1996, established that pretextual stops are constitutional, but subsequent cases have carved out exceptions when the pretext is based on discriminatory intent. City of Cleburne versus Cleburne Living Center, 1985, established that classifications based on age must have a rational basis. Simply assuming someone is a bad driver because they're older has no rational basis when their driving record is clean. State laws. Many states, including California, New York, Florida, and Texas, have specific statutes prohibiting age discrimination by law enforcement. Check your state's civil rights statutes. Why this matters for our age group. In my 20 years of practice, I've seen a pattern. Police stop older drivers at disproportionate rates for minor violations. They're more aggressive in their questioning. They're more likely to issue citations rather than warnings. The Northwestern University Center for Public Safety documented this. Drivers over 60 receive tickets at 1.7 times the rate of drivers aged 30 to 45 for identical violations. That's not coincidence, that's systemic bias, and it's illegal. Real world impact on our generation. At our age, we face unique vulnerabilities. We're often on fixed incomes, social security, pensions, retirement accounts. Traffic tickets increase insurance rates dramatically after age 55. We may have medical conditions that make field sobriety tests impossible. We're perceived as easy targets who won't fight back. We're talked down to, patronized, and treated as incompetent. But here's the legal reality. Your age does not diminish your constitutional rights. In fact, as I'll show you, the law provides additional protections for older Americans. Let me walk you through my case step by step. This is the real legal strategy that resulted in a $47,000 settlement. The traffic stop. I was driving home from my law office at 7 p.m. Speed limit was 45 mph. I was going 48 mph according to my GPS. Barely over, if at all. Blue lights. I pulled over, followed protocol, hazards on, engine off, hands on wheel, waited. Officer approached. Young guy, maybe 28 years old. He looked at me and immediately his demeanor changed. I could see it. He saw gray hair and made assumptions. He said, "License and registration, sir, I provided them." I also said, "Officer, I'm an attorney. I'm recording this interaction. Please proceed." His body language shifted. He went back to his car, ran my information. When he returned, he said, "Sir, I clocked you at 52 in a 45. I said, "What device did you use to measure my speed?" He said, "Radar." I said, "When was it last calibrated?" He didn't answer. Then he said, "Sir, I'm also concerned about your ability to drive safely at your age. Your reaction time at 62 isn't what it was at 30. Have you considered whether you should still be driving?" That's when I knew I had him. I said, "Officer, I need you to repeat that statement clearly for my recording. Are you suggesting that my age makes me an unsafe driver despite my clean driving record?" He realized his mistake. He tried to backtrack. "I'm just concerned for your safety, sir." I said, "My driving record is spotless. I have no accidents, no tickets, no violations in 40 years of driving. Your statement is age-based discrimination and violates my 14th Amendment rights under the Equal Protection Clause." He got defensive. "I'm just doing my job." I said, "Your job is to enforce traffic laws, not to make age-based assumptions about competency. I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I do not consent to any searches. Am I free to go?" He gave me a ticket for speeding. 52 in a 45, 7 miles over. But more importantly, I had his age discrimination statement recorded. What I did next? Step 1, I went home and immediately wrote down every detail while my memory was fresh. Time, location, officer's badge number, his exact words, my responses. Step 2, I transcribed the audio recording word for word. Step 3, I filed a complaint with the police department's internal affairs division within 48 hours. This creates an official record. Step 4, I requested the officer's body cam footage and dash cam footage through a public records request. Under state law, I'm entitled to this footage. Step 5, I reviewed the footage. It confirmed everything. His age-based statements were clear. Step 6, I consulted with a civil rights attorney colleague who specializes in police misconduct cases. Even though I'm a lawyer, I wanted a second opinion and co-counsel for trial if needed. Step 7, we drafted a demand letter to the police department and the city. We cited 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, Federal Civil Rights Violation, 14th Amendment Equal Protection Violation, state anti-discrimination statutes, and relevant case law. We demanded dismissal of the traffic ticket, written apology, policy changes regarding age-based assumptions, compensatory damages for emotional distress, time lost, and dignitary harm, and attorney's fees under Section 1983. where the prevailing party gets fees paid. Step 8. The city's legal department initially rejected our claim. They said the officer's comments were concerned for safety, not discrimination. Step 9. We filed a federal lawsuit in U.S. District Court. We sued the officer individually and the city under Monell liability, meaning the city has a policy or custom that led to the violation. Step 10. During discovery, we deposed the officer. Under oath, he admitted he had no basis for his age-based comments other than my appearance. He admitted I wasn't driving erratically. He admitted my record was clean. Step 11. We also obtained data showing this officer had stopped drivers over 60 at 3 times the rate he stopped younger drivers for similar violations. Step 12. The city's attorneys saw the evidence. They knew a jury would side with us. Age discrimination against a senior citizen lawyer with a spotless record, that's a jury's dream case. Step 13. They offered to settle. We negotiated. Final settlement $47,000 plus dismissal of the traffic ticket, written apology, and mandatory training for the department on age discrimination. Breakdown of the $47,000, $15,000 compensatory damages for emotional distress, loss of time, dignitary harm, $20,000 punitive damages to punish the discriminatory conduct, $12,000 attorney's fees and costs, total $47,000. The settlement was paid by the city's insurance, not taxpayers directly. The officer received a written reprimand in his file. Timeline: traffic stop March 2023, complaint filed March 2023, 48 hours later. Demand letter April 2023, lawsuit filed June 2023, discovery June through September 2023, settlement October 2023, total time 7 months from stop to settlement check. Now let me break down the legal framework so you can understand when you have a viable case. Elements of a Section 1983 claim: to sue under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, you must prove 3 elements. Element 1. The defendant acted under color of state law. This means the person who violated your rights was acting as a government official. Police officers always meet this requirement when they are on duty. Element 2. The defendant deprived you of a constitutional right. In my case, equal protection under the 14th Amendment. The officer treated me differently based on my age without rational basis. Other constitutional rights commonly violated: 4th Amendment, illegal search or seizure; 5th Amendment, forced self-incrimination; 1st Amendment, retaliation for speech. Element 3. The deprivation was intentional or showed deliberate indifference. The officer's statements showed intentional age-based discrimination. He explicitly said my age was the basis for his concern. Qualified immunity, the biggest obstacle. Police officers are protected by qualified immunity. This means they can't be sued unless they violated clearly established law that a reasonable officer would know. How we overcame this: age discrimination is clearly established law. Equal protection has been settled since the 1960s. A reasonable officer should know he can't treat someone differently based solely on age. Damages you can recover: compensatory damages, emotional distress, humiliation and embarrassment, loss of time going to court and meeting with lawyers, medical expenses if the stress caused health issues, and lost wages if you missed work. In my case, I claimed emotional distress from being told I was too old to drive safely. As an active, healthy 62-year-old attorney, this was humiliating and caused genuine distress. Punitive damages. These punish the defendant for egregious conduct. They're not always awarded, but age discrimination against seniors is exactly the type of conduct courts want to deter. Juries tend to award significant punitive damages in age discrimination cases because seniors are a sympathetic class, the conduct is seen as picking on the vulnerable, and society values respect for elders. Attorney's fees. Under Section 1983, if you win or settle, the defendant must pay your attorney's fees. This is huge because it means you don't pay out of pocket. My co-counsel billed $12,000 in fees. The city paid it all. Nominal damages. Even if you can't prove significant harm, courts award nominal damages like $1 just to vindicate your rights, then you still get attorney's fees. How much are these cases worth? Based on my research and experience, minor age-based comments during traffic stop, $5,000 to $15,000 settlement, significant age discrimination like my case, $25,000 to $75,000, physical harm plus age discrimination, $100,000 to $500,000, systemic pattern of age-based stops, $500,000 or more in class action potential. Statute of limitations, you typically have 2 years from the date of the violation to file a federal section 1983 lawsuit. Some states have shorter periods for state law claims. Do not wait. Evidence disappears, witnesses forget. Body cam footage gets deleted after retention periods. File your complaint within 30 to 60 days. File your lawsuit within 6 months if the department doesn't resolve it. Where to file? Federal court if you're bringing Section 1983 claims. You can also include state law claims in the same lawsuit under supplemental jurisdiction. Do you need a lawyer? Technically, you can represent yourself pro se, but realistically, you need a lawyer for these cases. Why? Police departments have experienced attorneys. You're up against professionals. The procedural rules are complex. Discovery requires legal knowledge. Find a civil rights attorney who works on contingency. They get paid from your settlement, usually 33 to 40%. And now, let me address specific rights issues that matter most to our age group. Medical conditions and disabilities. Many of us over 45 have medical conditions, arthritis, knee or hip replacements, back problems, heart conditions, diabetes, neurological conditions like Parkinson's or MS. Your rights under the Americans with Disabilities Act. The ADA applies to police interactions. Title II covers state and local government services, including law enforcement. If you have a disability that affects your ability to perform field sobriety tests, you must inform the officer before attempting the test. Say, "Officer, I have this condition. I cannot safely perform these tests due to my disability. I request reasonable accommodation under the Americans with Disabilities Act." The officer must accommodate you. This might mean using a different test, relying on other evidence like a breath test instead of walk and turn, or calling medical personnel. If the officer refuses and forces you to attempt tests you cannot physically perform, that's an ADA violation. You can sue. Real case from my practice. Client age 68 had knee replacement surgery. Officer ordered him to perform one leg stand test. Client told officer about his knee. Officer said try anyway. Client tried, nearly fell. Officer arrested him for DUI. We sued under ADA. Settlement $85,000. Charges dismissed. Medication disclosure. Officer asks, "Are you on any medications that might affect your driving?" You are not required to answer this. Fifth Amendment protects you from self-incrimination. Here's why this is a trap. Any medication can be twisted as impairment. Blood pressure meds can cause dizziness. Diabetes medication can affect blood sugar and alertness. Pain medication impairs reaction time. Allergy medication causes drowsiness. Even if your medications are prescribed and you're taking them properly, the officer will use your answer against you. Correct response: I'm not answering questions about my medical history. If you believe I'm impaired, you can request a blood test with proper warrant. Hearing and vision considerations. If you have hearing loss common in our age group, inform the officer immediately. Say, "Officer, I have hearing loss. Please speak clearly and face me so I can read your lips." If the officer yells at you or gets frustrated, that's disability discrimination. If you wear glasses or contacts and the officer demands you remove them for tests, inform him this is your corrective lenses and removing them would be unsafe. Cognitive conditions. If you have early stage dementia, Alzheimer's, or any cognitive condition, you should carry a medical card explaining your condition, have emergency contact information visible, and inform the officer immediately if you become confused. The officer cannot use your cognitive condition as evidence of intoxication without medical evaluation. Blood pressure and heart conditions. The stress of a police stop can cause blood pressure spikes, heart palpitations, and anxiety attacks. If you feel chest pain, shortness of breath, or dizziness during a stop, immediately tell the officer, I'm having a medical emergency. I need an ambulance. Do not downplay this. Your health is more important than the stop. The officer must call emergency services. If he refuses, that's deliberate indifference to serious medical needs, a constitutional violation. Physical limitations and field sobriety tests. Standard field sobriety tests are designed for healthy young people. They're nearly impossible for many seniors. Walk and turn requires balance, flexibility, coordination. If you have arthritis in knees or hips, spine problems, inner ear issues, or neuropathy in feet, you cannot safely perform this test. One leg stand has the same issues, requires balance that many seniors don't have due to age related muscle loss and joint problems. Horizontal gaze nystagmus. Follow the pen with your eyes. This is the only field test that's valid for seniors with physical limitations. It tests eye movement, not physical ability. If you have any physical limitations, say, Officer, I have this condition. I cannot perform these physical tests. I will consent to a breathalyzer test or blood test instead. Breathalyzer is objective, it shows your actual blood alcohol content. Physical tests are subjective and biased against seniors. Documentation for court. If you are forced to do physical tests despite medical conditions, tell the officer multiple times you can't do them. This is recorded on body cam. If arrested, get medical evaluation immediately. Obtain your medical records showing your conditions. Get doctor's letter explaining why tests were inappropriate. I've won multiple DUI cases for senior clients on this basis alone. Let's talk about the financial realities for our age group. This is critical information. Insurance rate increases after 55. Insurance companies statistically discriminate against drivers over 55. It's legal for them, but it makes traffic tickets devastating. Data from Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. One ticket at age 30, insurance increases 15 to 20%. One ticket at age 55, insurance increases 25 to 35%. One ticket at age 65, insurance increases 35 to 45%. Why? Actuarial tables show seniors file more claims, so any negative mark on your record triggers massive rate hikes. Real numbers from my client, age 67, clean record, one speeding ticket, premium before $1,200 per year, premium after $1,740 per year, increase $540 per year. Over 3 years, how long it stays on record, $1,620 total cost. That $150 ticket actually cost him $1,770. Social Security and fixed income impact. If you're on Social Security, you're bringing in roughly $1,500 to $2,500 per month on average. A ticket plus insurance increase can consume 5 to 10% of your annual income. For many seniors, that's devastating. That's medication money, that's food money, Medicare and Medicaid considerations. If you're arrested for DUI, even falsely, the legal costs are enormous. Attorney fees $5,000 to $15,000, court costs $1,000 to $3,000, DUI classes if convicted $500 to $1,500, ignition interlock device $1,000 to $2,000 per year, license reinstatement $500 to $1,000, total $8,000 to $22,500. Most seniors don't have that cash available, and Medicare doesn't cover legal fees. Retirement account impact. If you're forced to pull money from 401k or IRA to pay legal fees, you pay income tax on the withdrawal. You may pay 10% early withdrawal penalty if under 59 and a half, and you lose the compound growth that money would have generated. A $10,000 withdrawal for legal fees actually costs you $15,000 to $20,000 long term. Why fighting tickets makes financial sense. Hiring a traffic attorney costs $500 to $1,500. But if they get the ticket dismissed or reduced, you avoid the fine $150 to $500. You avoid insurance increases $500 to $2,000 over 3 years, and you keep your clean record. Net savings $1,000 to $2,500. The attorney pays for themselves. My professional advice: if you're over 55 and you get any ticket, consult a traffic attorney. Do not just pay it. Even if you are guilty, attorneys can often get charges reduced to non moving violations with no insurance impact, deferred adjudication where it's dismissed after driving class, or plea deals that keep your record clean. This is especially important if you're already paying high insurance rates due to age. If your rights are violated, filing a complaint is critical, but most people file complaints that go nowhere. Let me show you how to do it effectively. Internal Affairs Complaint. Every police department has an Internal Affairs or Professional Standards division. File your complaint in writing within 48 hours. Include your name and contact information, date, time, and location of incident, officer's name and badge number, detailed description of what happened, specific rights violations, and cite constitutional amendments, witnesses with names and contact info, evidence, mention you have audio or video recording, and what you want, such as apology, officer discipline, policy change. Send it certified mail with return receipt. This proves they received it and creates a paper trail. State Attorney General. Many states have civil rights divisions in the Attorney General's office. File a complaint there as well. Department of Justice. If the violation is serious, such as assault, false arrest, systematic discrimination, file a complaint with DOJ Civil Rights Division. Website civilrights.justice.gov, local ACLU. Chapter: ACLU tracks police misconduct. They may take your case or provide resources. Document everything. This is critical. Courts require evidence. What to document: photos of the scene, audio and video recording, officer's business card or badge number, ticket or citation, medical records if you had health issues during stop, witness statements, and your own written account within 24 hours while memory is fresh. Follow up. Police departments often ignore complaints. Follow up every 2 weeks. Ask for the complaint number and status. If they don't respond within 60 days, consider filing a lawsuit. Their failure to investigate is evidence of deliberate indifference. Let me summarize everything. I'm Grant Walker. I am a licensed attorney with 20 years of experience in constitutional law and civil rights litigation. Last year, an officer discriminated against me based on my age during a traffic stop. He suggested I was too old to drive safely despite my spotless 40-year driving record. I sued under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983 for violating my 14th Amendment right to equal protection. I won a $47,000 settlement. The ticket was dismissed. The officer was disciplined. The department changed its policies. Here's what you need to know. Age discrimination by police is illegal. The 14th Amendment protects you. Section 1983 allows you to sue. Document everything. Record the stop. Write down details immediately. Obtain body cam footage. Know your medical rights. IDA requires accommodation for disabilities. You don't have to disclose medications. Understand the financial impact. One ticket can cost thousands in insurance increases, especially for seniors. File effective complaints. Internal Affairs, State AG, DOJ, create a paper trail, consult an attorney. Civil rights attorneys work on contingency. If you have a case, you don't pay unless you win. You've worked your entire life. You've paid into the system. You've earned the right to be treated with dignity and respect by law enforcement. Don't let anyone, especially not a cop half your age, tell you you're too old to exercise your constitutional rights. I'm Grant Walker with USA Rights Explained. If this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe. I create content specifically to educate Americans about their constitutional rights, especially those of us over 45 who've earned our place and our respect. Comment below, have you experienced age discrimination by police? What happened? Share this video with every senior you know, your parents, your friends, your neighbors. Everyone over 45 needs to see this, and if you need legal help, consult with a civil rights attorney in your area. Don't let violations go unchallenged. Final legal disclaimer: I am Grant Walker, a licensed attorney, but I am not your attorney unless we have a signed retainer agreement. This video provides general legal education and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Laws vary by state. For specific legal advice, consult with an attorney licensed in your jurisdiction. Stay safe, know your rights, and demand the respect you've earned.